Hey everyone, welcome to day 4 of 2020 Make Some Money. I have decided, by the way, I like not having the camera on. It's 7:30. I if you want to hang out with me on video, I have a virtual membership to my co-working space that I'm happy to send you information about. But for now, let's just keep it this way. It makes my life slightly easier. And we all want my life to be slightly easier, right? Okay. So, yesterday we started working on the shoppable landing page. Now I changed the concept of my shoppable landing page because, well, I wanted to, because I was already making an ebook for something else. Now, this is sometimes you're going to have an idea, and as you're working, you're going to have a different idea that still works, and it's okay to do that. Okay. This is a pandemic. We can do what we want. We just need to tell people what we're doing and why we're doing it. Okay. So, anyway, this isn't out in the public yet, so I didn't feel weird about changing what I was doing slightly. All right. So, what I wanted to go over today was two things. First of all, working in MailChimp, not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. So, I want to show you a couple little design hacks that I've come up with for myself. The other thing is we're going to connect this to payment processing. So the very first thing is that, all right, so when I log into MailChimp and I just go to the main area, oh, really? You're going to make me log in again? Fine. Hold on. I have too many MailChimp accounts here. So like I said, what I notice in working with MailChimp, which I always sort of forget while I'm working with it, and I don't know, let's, where's my login? All right. I'm just going to copy it from LastPass again. What I noticed in working in MailChimp is it's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. Oh, come on. Hold on. I'm going to refresh this page. Oh my God, I don't know why it keeps saving one of my clients as like the main login. I want my thing to be the main login. All right. Let me just... I'm just going to copy and paste both fields. By the way, it is amazing. That looks shorter than what I have in here. Why does that look shorter? It looks shorter. All right, I'm just gonna look at this password real fast. Oh, that's not, okay. I'm gonna go change my password immediately after this. Also, there we go. Yeah, I will. I don't want to, I'll do this later. You guys, this is real life. Sometimes, I don't know why my LastPass is not loading never onto my keychain. Why isn't it offering to save it in LastPass? I don't know, because it's already there. All right, so it wants me to design my first email, but like whatever. So I'm gonna go click on campaigns. And once I'm able to actually get into my software, what you'll notice is I have, as I told you, a campaign. So it shows up where all of my email marketing sends would show up, but it's actually a landing page. So now let me tell you a couple of things that I figured out about MailChimp as I was doing my homework assignment yesterday. By the way, I'm like doing this along with you guys. So like after I get off the call, I also work on it. By the way, what I'm about to show you is approximately 2.5 episodes of Designing Women worth of time. Okay. I think those episodes are about 20 minutes long, but I loved watching Designing Women while being a designing woman myself. It just made me happy. Fun fact, I think they should reboot that show and have there be 4 women who own a web design firm. Wouldn't that be fun? Someone tell the network that. I think it's a great idea. Okay, now you'll notice that I told you yesterday that when you get to this main part and click on style, this is the part where you can set the styles for the entire page. Now what I noticed is despite setting, for example, my headline font, or I was like, oh, I'm going to set my headline font to Lato. I think I set to Lato. Lato. No, why is it back to Railway? Okay, what I noticed was that the stuff I set here wasn't necessarily automatically loading in the blocks I was working on. So for example, like this thing, even though I had set it to what I thought was Lato, it was actually loading in Railway. By the way, I love the Railway font. It's what I use on Anchor Space. You can always tell because the W, hold on, I'll change it back to Railway so you can see. The W has a little, see that W is like really distinct. That's how I can always tell Railway. So what you'll notice is what I can do on the individual level is I can highlight stuff and I can override whatever the main settings are for the whole template on the individual things. So what I noticed is, so if you're frustrated, you're like, oh, I set the whole thing to be this font and it's not working, just know you can go through and you can be like, I want this to be Lato. I want this to be Lato. Oops. Oh, I just picked, come on. It was Lato a second ago. There we go. So as you see, I can change the individual kind of things. The second thing to know, and let me just show it to you with this, this picture. If I make an image abound, and let me use the full-on version of this image. Now, as you see, even it's better, having this not have any kind of color overlay makes it really hard to read anything that's on top of it. So, little hack is we can do some stuff about this in Canva. So what I did is I just said, I'm going to create a design. And what I do is I want to make something that's pretty wide, like as wide as a website would be. So I'm going to call it like 1500 or maybe 2000 pixels. Help if I could type the word. There we go. 2000 pixels. And maybe I want to make it by 800 pixels. And let me just, and we'll see what the shape is. It's going to be like a rectangle that's looks like that. Now, maybe I want it to be a bit taller, in which case I'd have to go back, new, make it a little bit taller. Now, as you see here, it's like giving me templates of things I can use. But mainly what I want to do is take that image and make it so that I can put text over it, right? So like, let's say that I wanted to, you know, upload this picture. Maybe I want to turn it to the side because it'll work better that way. And then I want it to be bigger. I want it to take up some room. I wish I would have like styled this a little better, like granite countertop or whatever, but here we are. I'm going to kind of align it. Now maybe none of, by the way, you might have none of these problems, fun fact. Or if you are also having these problems, maybe we're both a specific kind of crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shape that's a color and I'm going to put it over it. And you might say, well, okay, well, it's going to go on. Now, if I click on this little thing that looks like a checkerboard in the kind of upper right corner with transparency, what I can do is I can basically make an image that has a bit of an overlay to it so that when I put some writing on top of it, it makes things a little bit more readable. Now, I didn't get this right away. Let me show you what I mean. I tried iterations of this. First of all, I uploaded it as it was because I was being lazy. And then I was like, okay. So then I tried a gold overlay. And then I tried a white. And then I tried a different white, differently cropped. So there's going to be, I think this is the one I eventually decided on. Sure. Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. Like, you're going to try stuff that doesn't work. That's a lot of what design is. Now, I'm not a real designer, but like from what I can tell, a lot of design is doing a bunch of stuff that doesn't work. So if this is taking you longer than you thought, it's not you, it's design. So that's the reason that we're going to extend this landing page design thing. I thought we were going to do it in like 2 days, but I think we're going to do it over the course of 3 days. Okay. So your teacher just gave you an extension on the assignment, so feel free to celebrate accordingly. Now, what I've done here is I've gotten it pretty much to where I want it. You know, I bagged little blocks. I like added some pictures. You know, the other thing too is, you know, and I'm still working on it. I was like, oh, I think I want another element here, like a picture of my mom and I or something. A couple of things though you might think about as you're working on your landing page. First of all, right now, all this landing page had on it, like when it first started, was buy the thing. Now, a bunch of people coming to your page might not be ready to buy the thing. And so what we want to do is um, we want to give them a way to keep in touch. Like, we don't want to have sent traffic there for nothing, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a text block here that says something like, and I'm going to make it not, okay, here's the other thing, is it'll set the default fonts a certain color. So as you see, the white in this caption area of this image over the gray looks great. The white other places looks great. So I don't necessarily want to change that, but I want to change this particular block. So what I can do is I can change the text color of this to whatever I want. Oh, you know what's really handy? I have a branding document that has my things in it. Okay, I can remember 373. I can do that. Oh my God, you guys, I can't click. All right, so I could have copied and pasted that easily enough. So, okay. Hey, look, my text is now. So as you see here, as I'm working on things, by the way, I made my overlay for that header image. I made it that white smoke. So this is technically that white smoke color. That's part of my brand. So this pink is part of my brand. So as we put all these things together, it looks cohesive. It looks like I know what I'm doing, or at least somewhat. So what I'm going to do is say, not ready for the pandemic cookbook. Well, we have special, and look, it's doing the railway font. Look at that W. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna finish this. Well, we have special pre-launch pricing. We'll make this publicly available and have some other fun too. Why not keep in touch via email? Okay. And then it's gonna collect their email address. So what I highly recommend doing, besides font, and I picked Georgia because they didn't have the other one I wanted. So I made all of the this text, the detoured road trip text is Georgia. This is going to be Georgia in a second. This is not Georgia yet, but now it is. So like I said, we want kind of everything to kind of match. So anyway, I still have to go finish this stuff, but what we want to do is we want to give people, by the way, sometimes MailChimp does weird stuff with spacing. So I'm going to move this spacer here to kind of put these things a little bit more together. And if I wanted to, I guess I could like put a divider or something around this email subscription area. If I really wanted to like sort of isolate it, I could put a border around it, like whatever. I could also make this little line color something that's less stupid. 7-3. Oh yeah, hold on. You do a lot of design work in a short period of time, you'll just know your hex codes by heart, but them written down somewhere, like I suggested, because if you even put this down for a couple of days, your brain is going to decide it wants to remember song lyrics from the 80s more than it wants to remember your hex codes. So like, we could sort of visually like put these things together, but what I highly suggest doing is one of these fields, which I dragged into here, is this email subscription field. Where is it? Do I only get one? Okay, well, one of these things in your block should be email subscription. And I don't want to take this out because I don't want to restyle it, but just drag that in, collect email addresses, okay? Because you're going to want them later for your marketing, which we're going to do once this thing is done. Okay, so I told you about overriding the individual things. You can override, like I said, the font and the color in particular at these individual levels. I've told you about adding the email sign up, and I've told you about this little Canva hack where you can basically upload a picture and put an overlay over it so that you can use it for background or other kind of designy elements, and that it might take you a couple of tries to get the right transparency and the right color overlay. Now, you've severely shortened your design time by actually having some colors to try and not 2.3 million hex colors, which are what's available in hex codes. All right, so let's say though that this whole thing was looking the way we wanted, Now, what you'll notice is that every time I go here to edit this, it's like, okay, you need to connect to accept payments. Before I can even edit this thing, I have to like connect it with a Square account. Okay. So just a very brief background. If you haven't been to one of my e-commerce classes, which by the way, amazing. Most websites software does not want to store, you do not want to store credit cards on your website. Okay. But you need a way to take payment. It's kind of like when someone walks in your store. You don't like write down their credit card number and then go and then figure out how to get the money. You work with a point of sale system that takes that credit card. Well, there's also online processing. So MailChimp has teamed up with Square to offer this on their landing pages. So what we're going to do is not fight City Hall, and we're going to use Square. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect to, oh, we don't have a Square account yet. Sorry, I forgot. Okay, so in another tab, I have opened up Square. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to sign up for a account with my email address that I've created and my EIN number that I've gotten from the government, and I'm going to connect it to my bank account that, so I'm going to, contactez-moi gmail.com. Okay. Hold on, I'm not going to retype that. By the way, and my password. Yeah, my password can be bad. Whatever that is, I will reset this later. I'm going to agree to terms, and I'm going to click continue. So what we're doing right now is we're setting up super basic processing. So what we're going to do is just set up the online features right now because I don't feel like we need to go through that whole process yet. We are what are we? A specialty shop, sure. So what we want to do is we want to, oh my God, what do we want to do? Yeah, sure, sell online. You know what? I'm just going to say I don't need any of these features right now just because I don't know what these boxes checked do. All right. Now we're going to verify your identity. So please use your legal name and home address. Okay. We use these for identification purposes only. So I'm not going to do this, obviously, on a call that I'm recording for the whole internet and and putting also on YouTube and a website. But you're going to go through and you're going to set this up. And what you're going to end up doing is making, once you make this account, this Square account, you're going to make a product. So let me just see. Okay. I'm going to sign into one of my other Square account to just show what the product looks like. Yep. Okay, I love how it like picks like old client stuff over stuff that I've literally used like a week ago. I don't understand. Okay. So as you see, I've had 0 sales over the last 30 days. Just really impressive. Okay. I'm looking for, I basically, let's do items. There we go. An item library. It's very, okay. So what you can do within Square, and if you've done this kind of thing, you know, at like a farmer's market or something, you can preload your products into Square and it will automatically. So if someone's like, oh, they buy like 3 bunches of carrots and a jar of jam, you can just tap the carrots twice and the jam once and it'll add up everything. So we just have these preloaded into our co-working spaces version of Square, which is our backup payment processor. And what I did is I went ahead and you're going to do this too as probably part of the setup process is you're going to create an item. So you're going to create an item and it's going to be called whatever. And in my, I made this thing called virtual membership that costs $19. And so what I'm going to do once I have a Square account set up, I've gone through that whole process, is I'm going to click connect. and I'm going to log in, and it's going to say like, oh, I'm going to log in just for now as Anchor Space, just because oh no. Um, God, this is driving me crazy. I like want to just reset like my whole Chrome and just be like, yeah. Yep. So it's going to be like, oh, pick your audience. And I'm obviously signed into MailChimp under like one of your French girls. And then it's going to say, okay. Again, I am going to undo this, but point being is that the thing you're connected to should automatically be connected to the correct business. So what I want to do is I can, I can change so anything that I have loaded into Square. So I could be like, oh, I'm going to instead use the virtual membership thing. And look, as you see here, this is what it's picking, it's pulling in that the name and the how much it costs. I can build in shipping and tax if I want. I can put an image, so, anyway, so you're going to basically set up Square. You don't even necessarily have to worry about setting up the items, just set up the free Square account and then you can add the items later. So, but hey, while you're in here, you can just add items too. Maybe that's the easiest. So, yeah. So it might take you a little bit to set this up. I'm not going to lie. But it's mostly asking for official information and things that you've already done on previous days. So the assignment for today is to go to square.com, set up an account, add an item that you want to sell on your landing page. And like I said, we can sell, if you wanted to sell like 3 items on your landing page, like let's say you had package 1, things that people, if they bought one thing, they might instead buy another thing. I think there's a way to do that, like where you can have multiple. So if I wanted to, I could I think I could duplicate this. But honestly, it's just really confusing when you give people multiple things to do. So what we want to do is like, think of one thing you want to sell and just make this offer on this landing page super clear. And if they're not ready to buy, give them a way that they can keep in touch with you. So that all that energy you're sending toward that landing page, at least you're getting some email addresses out of the thing. So, yeah. So today, like I said, just polish up your MailChimp, set up Square, add at least one item to your Square, and connect it to your landing page. So I get that that's a fair bit of work. So what we're going to do, like I said, is we're going to extend this landing page thing into part of tomorrow as well, where we kind of finalize things in terms of, because if I click save and close, we've just been kind of designing everything. We haven't done these, we haven't changed the URL and all that. So we're going to kind of do the finishing touches tomorrow and start a little bit on marketing. And by starting on marketing, I mean setting up marketing. So you're going to have like today and tomorrow to continue working on this. So just do what you can. It's all you can do. But at the very least, set up square.com. It's free. You're only going to pay a percentage per transaction when someone buys something. Okay. So if you have any trouble though, please reach out, and thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day. And hopefully these videos are closer to 20 minutes. Sorry about the 30 minutes yesterday. Sometimes I get chatty. But yeah, so shoppable landing page. You're going to have one tomorrow, hopefully, that's ready to go, or at least pretty close to being ready to go. And we can put finishing touches. All right. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you soon.